welcome to Train of Thought. I'm Jonii, your conductor, and did you know they make Squishmallows the size of train cars now? There's reduced capacity for the train this week for unrelated reasons.
And I'm Daro. I'm the bomb defusal expert on this train because you never know when there's a bomb on the train because there's always a bomb on the train.
There's always a bomb on the train?
You've seen movies. You've played video games.
I don't really feel comfortable thinking that. I feel like that would just give me a lot of anxiety. I don't know if I can pilot. Do you pilot a train? Is that the verb there? I don't know what the verbiage is for driving a train, even though that's my job description.
We're gonna command this train.
It's driving. You're driving a train. Hello.
Okay, confirmed. Actually, wait. Who are you? What?
Hi, I'm AJ. I know a lot about trains. I edit the videos, and it only took me 4 episodes to notice that the locomotive has been Gaussian blurring every 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's been, on the inside, you don't really think about it, but, you know, it's, I was kind of wondering why the walls would just lose their definition from time to time, so it's good to know.
Nobody told me.
I didn't know either. I just see. It's funny because I do check the stuff, but with the video, like because it's a good visual, but it's like a static visual for like an hour, so it's like I'm not looking at it the whole time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's maybe.
Welcome to Train of Thought meta discussion, where we talk about the video itself.
It's you know. We were doing fine, I think, but I believe that is against code. That is against railroad code. So we are.
I was just going to sit back and wait
that.
for you to introduce me, but then you started asking questions about railroad shit, and my time had come.
No, yeah, we just talk. This is a talking podcast, Train of Talk.
Yeah, we're like those two guys you see on Twitter.
What two? There's a lot of guys on Twitter.
Oh, there's like these people who make fake podcasts.
Oh, like the TikToks?
Oh yeah, fake TikTok podcast guys. That's what they are.
Those are good. I've seen some of those. Anyway, we're not talking about. Well, maybe we will be. The nature of this podcast is such that we can just talk about whatever we want, whenever we want, really. But the pretense of this podcast with our special guest AJ, esteemed video editor and Gaussian blur expert,
and drawer also.
And drawer. That's true. We would not have physical form, nor would our friend Guano, if not for AJ. But yes, we the pretense of today's podcast with our special guest, we thought about what are our mutual interests, what could we go off about. We're going to talk about some stupid Nintendo games, and initially we thought about talking about Nintendo merch as well, so we might just trail off into stupid Nintendo stuff in general, but
I'm an expert on stupid things.
Yeah, should I set the timer for like 45, 50 minutes maybe?
Let's do our 45-minute perusal.
All right, who wants to kick us off? I will
Wii
start the timer when
chess.
someone starts talking.
All
right,
chess.
Daro has provided an excellent introduction. Is Wii Chess a Europe exclusive?
I think so.
I feel like I remember that being the case. What? This is the whole podcast. In case you guys haven't told, we have not recorded in weeks. So, despite the schedule being the same for you, it is not for us. I'm looking up like the division of Nintendo that did Wii Chess, because one of my favorite things is just researching Nintendo stuff. There's people don't think about the different divisions a lot of the time. So I think the I was gonna say EAD was like the big important one, but no, EAD restructured. So the big important one is Nintendo Entertainment Planning and Development now.
This
Nintendo
one says
EPD.
This one says SPD, which means
EPD
something.
Software planning and development.
They really
were,
planned that chess out.
I think EAD and SPD merged together into EPD. So EPD. It keeps saying. I keep thinking I'm saying like EP.
You keep saying EBDB.
EBDB. This is the first podcast I've recorded on Adderall, so I don't know how that's impacting me. I was telling my mom,
gang.
Adderall gang, rise up. I was telling my mom yesterday when I have a follow up with my doctor in a couple months. He'll be like, "Have you noticed any side effects from the Adderall?" And I'm going to say, "I'm sillier." a little bit sillier when I'm on the Adderall. That's about it. But yeah, no, like Nintendo EBDB, they did like Mario Odyssey, they did Mario Kart 8, they did Breath of the Wild. Like they're involved in all the like the big important Nintendo games. Circling back around, okay, yeah, no. As Daro was saying, chess was done by SPD, who are responsible for such acclaimed Nintendo classics as Tomodachi Life. Mostly that one. I mean, some of the WarioWare games.
Like most of the WarioWare games.
I thought you were going to say something stupid.
Metroid Other M, Rhythm Heaven, the Nintendo MP3 player for the Game Boy Advance. What? The Play Yan.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, the Japanese exclusive Game Boy Advance SD card media player.
Well, that's stupid,
yeah,
Nintendo.
Dude. What do you mean? I have a friend who I think to this day still his primary MP3 player that he will bring into public and listen to music on is just his 3DS, which is fantastic. I think it's like an original model 3DS because you can just put fucking MP3s on the SD card, which is great. I'm trying to think of other stuff like that. Oh, shit, I don't know if I talked to you about this, Daro, but I definitely had a long conversation with Will about it. We're all familiar with the GBA video, of course. You know it.
Oh,
you love it.
I know I love it.
It's great. It's beloved. Did you know? There were, I guess I should say, there were DS video cartridges in Japan for a while as well.
I did not know that.
There are, and the reason I found out about it is a lot of the Pokemon movies seem to come out in that format. But I believe there was also there's a weird situation where I think there was also like a digital storefront. So there's like a special DS cartridge with, I think, a micro SD card slot where you can put your purchase. Like all of them have like fucking like DRM on them, so you can't like just put any MP4 file on your DS cartridge. But I mean, maybe you could with modding, but it's like you could buy movies and books and stuff. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I kind of want to make a video about it, but like that storefront's been down for years. All of the shit is really expensive. A lot of it only came out for the DS digitally, but you sure can buy a bunch of the Pokemon movies on the DS if you really want to watch fucking Pokemon forever.
I want to
on
mention
your fat Nintendo DS.
that despite this being an audio podcast, this box art that you've just sent is atrocious.
It's pretty bad. So just for our I don't know if we'll throw visuals up on the YouTube version. We might. But for our listeners who aren't able to see, the box arts for all of these are like the Japanese poster of the Pokemon film in question, but condensed down to a DS box art size. There is a logo in the top left that says DS Vision. At the bottom is what I can only assume is information for using like the software to get other movies digitally, because it specifies like, yes, this is compatible with Windows XP and Vista, and you can use Microsoft Internet Explorer. So on this official Pokemon cartridge for the DS, it's mentioning all this Windows shit.
Pokemon is so
really weird.
Pokemon is so funny because it's like one of those series that, because it's not fully Nintendo, they just do some wild stuff. Like
they do, yeah.
Like Sega Pico Bina. There's Pokemon games on that for whatever reason.
There's Pokemon's on the Sega, yeah. It's I mean, Pokemon is just in addition to having that sort of not fully Nintendo restriction, it's also very you know, like it's literally the highest grossing media franchise of all time. So it's one of those things where like a Pokemon logo has been slapped on everything. So there's a lot of just really strange Pokemon merchandise. There still is, but like there used to be just like if you look up Japanese Pokemon commercials from the 90s, it's like, oh shit, it's Pokemon pasta, it's Pokemon bed sheets, it's Pokemon bread, like it's everything you could possibly
Pokemon,
imagine.
Yeah,
Condoms.
it's fucking Pokemon.
It's Pokemon, exactly. It's I don't know if anyone's ever done it, but I mean, I feel like it would almost be too easy. Someone a couple years ago did a video where it was, could you get through an entire day using only Evangelion branded merchandise? And I feel like you could really easily do that with Pokemon.
I've seen a couple videos like that. Like, I've seen somebody do it with Spider-Man merch.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah, no, something that runs that long.
I think Comic Drake did that.
I'm gonna have to add that to my watch.
Remember to play Pokemon Smile with your Pikachu branded toothbrush.
Fucking Pokemon Smile. Is it true?
You talking about that toothbrush reminded me of the dumbest piece of merchandise I've ever seen.
Give me the lore.
Hit me up.
So I was at Walmart, and I guess nowadays they have been making a special electric toothbrush that's supposed to get kids to want to do it more. And there is a Sonic toothbrush where they got Roger Craig Smith to record exclusive Sonic lines for a fucking toothbrush.
You are fucking kidding me. No way.
Is it like Tooth Tunes where you put your toothbrush in the mouth?
Yeah, it's pretty much Tooth Tunes.
I was gonna
Sonic
bring
talks
up
through your bones.
Like,
what does he say?
It's just like the generic, like, yo, you're doing great. You gotta brush your fucking teeth, man.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like that would not motivate me to keep brushing, because I'll just be going off and it'll be like, yeah, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, no.
Get inside those molars, bro. No
Sonic,
copyright law in the universe can stop me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Sonic's pretty much just walking you through how to brush your teeth as if it's like a fucking zone.
Look,
If you don't get your gums, I'm gonna kill you.
It was so dumb, and I very much thought about buying it just so that I could say that I have it, but I did not buy it.
I kind of want it. I think it would be really funny. Can we, I mean, yes we can. This is train of thought. Fuck staying on topic. I want to talk about Tooth Tunes for a minute.
For
because
real.
what the fuck was happening there? I remember the commercial. I'm sure there were probably a couple commercials, but the one I remember being, I think, on Cartoon Network all the time. For some reason, the song that they really pushed to advertise that was "Rock and Roll All Night" by Kiss. Like that's the fucking 10-year-old kids are gonna be like, shit, I can listen to Kiss while brushing my teeth? I love Kiss.
oh yeah, Gene Simmons. Let's go.
Gene Simmons, I love that guy.
I have zero memory of this commercial.
It's like it's a kid.
Honestly,
maybe I'll try to find it.
My
but
memory.
Like sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, my memory of it is the kid's just like, or wait, I think because I saw it on Twitter, just edited.
Yeah.
It's like 1984 where they're all doing up, down, and then the kid with his Tooth Tunes puts it in his mouth, and there's like a color explosion of musical notes.
I don't remember it being
that
like
one.
the 1984 commercial. I thought it was just like the kid's brushing his teeth, but then it goes inside his mouth and his teeth are like dancing.
No, I don't remember that. I mean, I do remember Little Bear mouthwash.
I have a vague memory of that commercial.
The things they tried to do.
Commercials would have been a good topic.
Another time. Speaking
time.
of, let's just talk about brushing our fucking teeth now, though. Okay, wait, no. You're right, Daro. I do remember this commercial. You're correct. I think that is the one I was thinking of. I think I'm conflating that commercial with a different commercial for another thing. Anyway, you know what I had back in the day is I had a Pokemon electric toothbrush with the Sinnoh starters on it. I think I still have that, but it's gross now. See, that's the thing with some merchandise too for big collector markets. I'm most familiar with this being a thing with Pokemon. But I would imagine it could also be a thing with like Marvel or Star Wars or Disney or whatever. Collecting some merchandise years after the fact, vintage merchandise, is fucking disgusting. I went to a Half Price Books a little bit ago, and they had a certain amiibo.
A certain cereal box shaped amiibo that I was going to talk
Yep,
about.
the Super Mario cereal with scannable amiibo. And I was like, oh, this is an empty box, and I picked it up. No, it's not. It has a sticker on the front. Please do not open and eat this cereal. It is very old. But they're just selling it because it's an amiibo.
That's
at a half-price book.
That's insane.
So I may or may not have a sealed box of Mario cereal on my shelf.
AJ, Jesus.
What
Shout outs to the YouTube slash TikToker Mew is Me 700, she's a Pokemon collector. She's most known because she has some of like the promotional cars, like the Pika-Bug and the Lugia car. But there's this one short of hers that I've watched many times with many people, where it's like getting ready entirely with Pokemon merch. And you see she has like Pokemon toothpaste and Pokemon cereal, and it's like, oh, that's cute, but she's not actually gonna. No, she brushes with the Pokemon toothpaste and she eats the cereal, and the facial expression she makes, it's like, oh, oh, that's not good. That was not.
She
did not enjoy that.
Some real 1999 cereal over here.
No, like actually, it's like, whoa, it's gross, but it is really funny.
Existed for a while.
Do you think there's surviving copies of Nintendo Cereal System floating around?
No way. I gotta check eBay. eBay will have some of this shit, which is wild. But I also think eBay doesn't really want you selling food on there that's expired, but people do it anyway. Yep, unopened box, $3,500. Let me check the sold listings. I did used to. I recall collecting. They were empty, like I would eat the food inside, so it wouldn't be as gross. Box only sold for $19. Another box only sold for $6.50. So what the fuck do I know? But yeah, sorry. Back on topic. One thing I remember collecting for a while, probably in like 2007, which was a little gross. Not as gross as collecting uneaten food, is I would collect SpongeBob Go-Gurt tubes because they would have SpongeBob themed jokes. I think on the back.
Sponge comics.
I remember
little
those
Sponge comics. I think it might have also been that they wanted you to collect them. It was like, ooh, all of them have a different character on it. Collect all the characters. So I distinctly remember I think I probably had a Mr. Krabs one, and I definitely had like a Mrs. Puff one. There might have been a Pearl one too. I don't know why I got all like the Mr. Krabs adjacent characters, but I definitely had like a drawer full of those at some point, and I feel like they probably got thrown out either by me or my mom. But who knows? They might still be kicking around in this house somewhere.
Man.
Did you guys ever collect any food containers or get
No, because I'm not a hoarder, Johnny.
Shut up! Being a hoarder runs in my family. That's
okay.
Why do you think I have a YouTube channel?
Okay, so on the topic of collecting food containers, a very stupid reason, I wanted to at some point record a bit for a YouTube video that I never ended up making, and even if I did, I wouldn't make it in live action, so the bit was pointless. I have a cupboard chock full of empty Monster Energy cans. Because I wanted to do a bit where I finally get an idea for a very bad idea for a YouTube video, because I think I wanted to do a retrospective on the entirety of the Pokemon anime.
Oh yeah.
And where I would just be lying on my couch, literally buried in Monster Energy, and then just rise up like, I have a dumb idea. Now I have hundreds of empty Monster Energy cans that I haven't gotten around to throwing away yet.
Oh, dude, that's commitment to the bit. I mean, I can't say what it's a stack of yet because I'm still working on the video, and I don't know if this will be out before the video is. But I mean, I'm working on a video right now that involved collecting a lot of different variations of something, we'll say. And so we ended up doing an opening joke for that video where originally it was going to be like I come out the door and I hold the thing and I say like, the thing, and that's the video topic. But the way we ended up doing it, me and my co-writer Ethan, is I just went into his bedroom and we stacked pretty much all of them so they just covered the fucking like door frame, like there's barely any light escaping. And so he walks down the stairs in his hallway and he's filming and he's like, hey John, I got a video idea, what if? And he pans over and I just fucking knock over the entire stack. But when we were doing that, like, I think I kicked it or I kneed it or something, so I actually fell over onto the ground with the stack of the thing. And I was just like, oh, fuck. Thing! And that's the take. Sometimes when you just commit, like, just the absurd spectacle of that many of something that there should not be that many of, like monster cans
or Devil's Third and Wii U.
Oh my God.
I will
Or
eventually
Wii U's in
find
general.
a use. Like, I will find a use for all those empty monster cans. Like, I still think that my caffeine addiction is a really funny bit.
Well, that's the thing, too, is if you collect, like, that much of something, it just makes you want to use it. It's like, well, I have this. Like, this is funny in and of itself. So it just turns into that thing. I think,
That actually, like, the idea of something being funny, just something stupid in large quantities. It's a
good bit.
Yeah, so something very funny. You go on, like, I collect Game Boy Advance games, and for those Game Boy Advance games, I wanted to have plastic cases. So I ordered a whole bunch of, DS cases off of eBay. Turns out the cheapest way to get DS cases is to just straight up send you dirt cheap sealed games that nobody bought. So I now have a jar that is filled with like 25 loose cartridges of Jonas for Nintendo DS.
You see, I think that the funniest part of that is that it is that game, because whenever I think of that one, I just associate it with the fucking Salty video where he accidentally, like, clips through the floor and does a speedrunning strat completely by accident.
I actually think it would be even funnier if they kept sending me the first stack of games that they did, because, like, yeah, having a container full of Jonas is funny. I think it's infinitely funnier the fact that I have a small jar filled with My Stop Smoking Coach.
Let's
fucking go. You're just buying all the Salty Core games because they're 2 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I kind of, I have a similar thing where, I guess for people that don't know, older Nintendo consoles are region locked, but for some of them there are like workarounds. So for the Nintendo 64, what they did is the Japanese cartridges, I think on the back, go inward, but the American cartridges go outward. So like Japanese cartridges and American cartridges won't fit in the other consoles. There's I don't know if you can do this with the 64. I know you can do this with the Super Nintendo, which is similar. If you rip like 2 plastic tabs out of the console, you just fucking yank them out with like a fucking like whatever, like a tool.
Oh yeah, no, with the Nintendo 64 you just need to take out a little metal tray, because the only thing that is stopping you from fitting a Japanese cartridge in is just 2 little tabs in the cartridge.
Yes, exactly. Okay, it's a little so it sounds like it's a bit different for the 64, but same idea. You just pretty easy mod, but I've had the issue where I'm like, well, I don't want to rip shit apart. So there, like, if you don't want to touch your console, you don't want to tear pieces out of it. The other solution is that if you screw the back, if you unscrew like a cartridge and you screw the back of an American cartridge onto the front with the like motherboard of the Japanese cartridge, then it'll just fit and work. So I haven't had to do that many times because I don't have that many Japanese games. But I just started collecting copies of Madden 2000 to do that with. So I actually just I'll send a picture to you guys. You won't be able to see it, but I just went into this drawer and I have the front of a Madden 2000 because I just took the back off of it, and I have the back of a Puyo Puyo Sun because that was the cartridge that I fucking Frankensteined together.
See,
so
taking things apart, I did that once with my PS4 controller to make it actually usable on a computer.
Did that go well for you?
I had to do some filing down for about an hour because I didn't have a good filing tool.
What part of the controller did you have to file down?
The plastic shell on the inside, so the custom motherboard to make it USB-C would fit.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So, like, the funny thing is, I only have like 3 import games total, and they're all Puyo Puyo games, and I bought them specifically because your Puyo video made me obsessed.
Let's go.
I'm
really happy to hear that. I have well, I mean, it sucks because most Puyo games you can't get physicals of in America, or they're harder to get. So I think the only American ones I have physically are the Puyo Puyo Tetris games, because those are easier to come by. But
I have the GameCube version of Puyo Pop Fever.
I do too, but I have the Japanese. Yeah, I have the Japanese GameCube one because I have modded Wii. So
I've got one import game, and it's it's for the 360.
Oh, what the fuck! Is it like a Japanese 360 game?
Yeah, it's Mushihime Sama Futari, which is a bullet hell game that they released in Japan on the 360 for whatever reason, and I mean,
that tracks. There's like a weird amount of bullet hell games on the 360. I want to say some of them. I mean, that one obviously is seemingly Japan exclusive.
One of them is
there is one Japanese
Smiles
exclusive Xbox 360 game that I am very excited for. Not very excited for, like, that I've always wanted to play, and it's Tetris the Grandmaster Ace, I think is what it's called.
That's kind of neat. I didn't know there was like a specific one of those for the 360.
Yeah, no, they just made one for the 360 only in Japan, and it is significantly easier than the rest of the Tetris the Grandmaster games.
Tetris the
Shit, I might need to look into that.
I still have Nintendo.
I think modding 360 is kind of hard though.
Modding 360s is very hard.
Oh, I mean, it wasn't region locked for me at all. You just play the disc and it worked, but
what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
With 360
not region locked?
With 360 games, the only thing that makes them region locked is if the game itself is programmed to be region locked, and Tetris the Grandmaster is.
Mushihime Sama Futari is not.
I'm buying a Japanese 360.
I still have Nintendo Serial System up on my web browser, and I'm looking at the box, and it says there's 2 different flavors, fruity and berry. That is the same thing.
That is true. It's Daro. It's Mario and Zelda flavor.
Yeah, one of them.
Which one is fruity?
Mario, apparently.
That's weird. I'm sorry to ask this question. Is Zelda fruitier than Mario?
Yeah.
Link doesn't wear pants a lot of the time.
I feel like if you're picking a fruity character from any of those games, it's fucking Link, obviously.
Yeah, it's either Link or Luigi. You gotta choose.
That's true. They're both pretty fucking fruity now that I think of it. There's a weird I am always familiar with, because they did the TV commercial. It was based on like Mario 1 and Zelda 1. There's one box of this on eBay that's based on Mario 2 and Zelda 2. And it looks really weird.
That's not right.
Especially because, because they just, to describe this artist's depiction again, they drew over the it's supposed to be like a screenshot from both games, but they like redrew it, and the Link looks okay. The Link looks goofy, but I like him. He looks good. That Peach outfit is not correct. That just looks really weird, and proportionally, like, I think they were trying to trace to the sprite, but it almost looks like AI generated, the way the arms are so fucking like wrong. It's just a very weird decision, and like Mario's not even on the box. It's Link and Peach. It's weird. I guess Peach is probably inherently kind of fruity just because that's her name, but
what a terrible name. Nintendo Serial System.
Peach?
I hate it.
I thought you were like ripping on Peach for a second.
No,
like,
I'd rip on
Peach is a fine
Toadstool.
name. Toadstool is a much worse name than Peach. I agree. Like Peach is probably not like an actual name that people have. It might be, but it's like close. Like people could be named that, and I wouldn't like. It's a nice word.
I like the idea that Toadstool is her last name.
I feel like it has to be, right?
Yeah,
like
it's one of those things. Like it's one of those things where, like, Japan's like, yeah, no, this character does not, like, this character is just named the one that we're used to nowadays, but then America completely changed it. It's like how Japan was forced to canonize the fact that we had been calling him Dr. Robotnik this entire time.
I wanted to bring up that you don't see Mario fans still call her Toadstool, but you still have Sonic fans calling him Robotnik. Like, what's...
I wonder if that's due to the implication, because I think, at least in my interpretation, Toadstool is probably a last name. Mario 64, I feel like, gives off a bit of that vibe, because it's like Princess Toadstool, Peach, like that's her first name. Whereas I think like Eggman is like a derogatory nickname, but then he also
like,
just calls himself that. So
it's literally
he reclaimed
an
the slur.
insult. Like it's
he
literally
reclaimed
an
the
insult
slur.
that, like it's an insult that Eggman turned into a literal symbol of world domination.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like how mad are you really at being called Eggman if you design an entire evil fucking like space thing called the Death Egg? Like, I feel like at some point you're just doing it to yourself on purpose.
I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast before or it was outside. When I was, well, not when I was younger, but like a couple months ago, I was like, I wonder what the American kids playing Sonic in the 90s were thinking when they saw Death Egg, and, you know, we're like, why is it called the Death Egg? What's with the egg? But
yeah,
it turns out I asked a professional born in the 80s, 90s Sonic fan. He said, this one's a shout out to David the Lurker, David T. Lurker. He said that there was that promotional comic or whatever, the origin story, where it was Kintober or whatever.
Yeah, Kintober, yeah.
And he got fused with an egg. That's why. So if you think about it, the egg theming is actually in the side lore from the weird Bible that doesn't make sense, but did make sense to kids in the 90s.
I really enjoy that they went out of their way to incorporate the egg into his backstory in America, even though he wasn't even fucking called Eggman anymore. Like, it's just like such an unnecessary detail. I mean, that whole fucking origin story is stupid as fuck, but like, it's just such an unnecessary detail. Who fucking wrote that lore Bible?
Like, they acknowledge that, he's round, he's fat, and he's, like, he got the entire egg theme. They just didn't want to call him Eggman because Eggman sounds kind of stupid.
Yeah, which is... I was going to say which is stupid because Sonic is kind of stupid, but that was
they wanted us to take him seriously.
Era. Sega was trying to be cooler than Nintendo, and Nintendo was already trying to be cool.
Yeah,
so
imagine your villain being I'm Eggman, or I'm Robotnik.
To be fair, this was to be fair, Sad AM, they genuinely made Dr. Robotnik terrifying.
Well, I was going to bring that up, though, because I feel like there was a... I mean, it's well publicized that there were disagreements between Sega of Japan and Sega of America, but I feel like even within Sega of America, there was not a consistent vision of what Sonic should be like, because Sad AM aired the same time as fucking Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, which is insane.
Yeah, it's literally just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You get silly Looney Tunes adventures with Sonic and Tails, and then Saturday morning, the entire world is taken over and you're gonna die.
Yeah, like being like imagine being like 6 or 7 and you decide that you like Sonic and you watch Adventures every day and then you stumble on Sad AM. You'd be fucking terrified, dude. Like, shit's crazy. It's just weird that they... I don't know. I mean, Sonic is obviously one where the lore is not what we in the business would call consistent in any way.
Apparently, they discuss the fact that these two shows aired at the same time in the new Scott Pilgrim anime.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's fucking dope, actually.
Like, that bit of trivia is what replaced the scene where Scott is explaining about the Pac-Man name change.
That's actually funny as shit, because the Puckman thing is so, like, I feel like that's so much more of, like, it is a true, like, nerd fact, but it's also, like, much more of, like, a... I don't know. I feel like that's much more understandable to an outside audience that's not fucking a bunch of nerds.
Yeah, no, they just made him go full AJ and just info dump about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Dude, I gotta start doing that at parties. I'm gonna just go up to people at parties and I'll be like, So have you ever seen Negima? And they're like, no, I don't know what that is. I'll be like, well, they made a reboot, but the reboot is also kind of a continuation. And I'll be like, John, what the fuck are you even talking about? I don't know what that is. And I'll be like, you like Pokemon? Like, I'll just keep going. No, yeah, it's just hot take. I don't know if anyone has ever expressed this opinion before. Sonic is weird.
Yeah, he's a hedgehog
also,
and he can talk. This is kind of weird.
It's kind of wild that they came up. They must have been on some drugs when they came up with that, bro.
So Mario eat the mushroom and he get high.
I will never, and he's probably not listening to this, but respect to my dad, love my dad, but little anecdote, I'm not over the time. I never like lived with my dad for too long, so we'd see each other kind of infrequently when I was younger. And one time, I obviously watched a lot of SpongeBob when I was a kid. There's one time I went over there and we were watching TV and I was watching SpongeBob and he was just like, man, whoever made this was on a ton of drugs. And like I wasn't sure if that meant he didn't like it or something, but then like a couple years ago he got married. And I friended his wife on Facebook, and his wife posted that they were just like chilling watching SpongeBob, and I'm like, what the fuck? I got to fucking watch SpongeBob with you. I fucking love SpongeBob, dude. What the fuck?
SpongeBob's fucking awesome.
I got it.
No, yeah. Last time I was over there, me and his wife just like talked about SpongeBob for 10 minutes. It was great.
I got a stupid Nintendo for you.
Oh yeah, go for it.
The time that Mario Party Star Rush's box art reused a render for the Mario SpaghettiOs.
No fucking way. Well, is the origin point of that render the Mario SpaghettiOs?
The first time it showed up was the Mario SpaghettiOs.
Okay, that actually is really fucking good.
So it's probably just like a general asset that no one had used until SpaghettiOs.
That's really funny that SpaghettiOs was first on the punch. Oh my god, I looked up Mario Party Star Rush, and one of the results is what I can only assume is like a placeholder cover art, where it's literally the transparent PNG background, the logo, and like, oh look, here's the characters with like a stock render. I love placeholder box arts. They're great. I like that Luigi is cropped off a little bit. I mean, something with the Mario renders that's really interesting is like, obviously, growing up in the 2000s especially, you would know, they recycled some of those renders for years and years. My favorite types of Mario renders are the ones where it's a render they've been using since like the dawn of fucking time, like since God first like created the earth, like day fucking 4 he created the stock like New Super Mario Brothers Mario jumping render. But then they'll be like, we're gonna update this, and it's the same fucking render but with like a slightly newer model, and it's like the first new fucking render in like 10 years. And it's like, whoa.
You can see his hair.
I have some very important trivia on this topic. The stock standard Wario render, like the Wario render.
I'm sure if I just Google Wario render, yeah.
There are 3 separate versions of that render.
Is it like a time thing, or was it just they just did different? Wait, shit. Yeah, like, here's 2 of them already. What the fuck? Like the facial structure is like different. What the shit?
Yo, wait, no. There's 4 different versions of it.
Why? For what reason?
I don't know. Like they kept updating. Like there's the one that
I found 2 of them.
Like there's the old one. There's the Mario Party 10 one. Then they did it again for for Super Mario Party, and then the one that everyone forgets, like the old Wario render is not the original, because the original was for I think Mario Party 4 when he still wore a long sleeved yellow shirt.
No fucking shot. What? Hang on.
So there are 4 versions of this render.
What the fuck? You mentioned one of them's from Mario Party 10, and I really like that information because the fact that they re-rendered old stock. Yep, I found the long shirt one. Mario Party 6? What the fuck? That has to be like a reuse. There's no way that was made for Mario Party 6. But yeah, no. It was like I just the fact that they remade some of the renders around the time of Mario Party 10 is really funny to me, because just imagine like the conversation that led to that. It's like, okay, we need some renders for this game. Should we like use the models and it's like no. You just here's the fucking pose. Just like literally just plop the model on there and have it do the exact same pose.
Like,
and
here's the
like,
thing.
Why?
Like these, like, because these renders are iconic and they want to keep using these really good poses. It's just that the lighting is so different between the old style renders and the new style ones.
It is
that they
really
do not
crusty.
mix, which has not stopped them one bit.
No, Nintendo, or at least people who license Nintendo properties for merchandise, have never given a shit about like internal consistency. One of my favorite examples is I have a Nintendo branded set of Uno cards that came out in fucking 2004, according to the Mario Wiki, well into the GameCube era. All of the renders are Nintendo 64 era renders except Luigi as Luigi's Mansion. That's the only one. Here, I'll just send you the fucking wiki page. You can see them. It's disgusting. Like, Mario, I think, is from a sports game. Yoshi is from... There's a couple of Yoshis from Yoshi's Story. Most of the other characters are from sports games. I think Bowser might be from... I really don't
That looks like
know.
64, where he's getting his tail dragged. It's just...
I was kind of thinking that. And then some of the Marios are 64.
That's
yeah.
just so messed up that it's all just the N64 renders, but then, then you look at Luigi and he's like HD compared to these things.
Also, King Boo, or the... Not King Boo, but just the Boo is Luigi's Mansion as well. Like, it's like, why? And the character choices, too, it's like, what iconic Mario characters do we have here? Mario, Luigi, Toad, Yoshi, Peach, all good. Wario is specifically the Mario Kart render, but he's there. Waluigi's there. Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, okay. Yellow and blue Yoshi? That's the best you could do, is just like two random Yoshi. Why those ones also? Like, couldn't even get four. Like, it's just two random Yoshi Story Yoshis. In addition,
Didn't get around to making enough renders for the style guide.
Fucking apparently. I'd really love, like, there's holy grails for me of like just internal you know, like things that were circulated internally that I would love to have just so I could get a better understanding of the workings of merchandise, especially, and style guides, and just what's the word, press kits for especially Nintendo related merchandise that's not video games. Super interesting to me, because how does shit like this happen?
Yeah.
It's just like how much shit is Nintendo giving them? Is this just all they had? Did they not care? Did they just like grab whatever renders looked the best to them without considering like internal brand consistency? Like, you just don't know.
I mean, yeah, and like the fact that, like, I'm trying to organize my thoughts here, but like with Sonic, the only reason that we have high quality images of most of the pieces of Sonic stock art that we have was just because the 2009 Sonic Art and Assets DVD got leaked.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's actually like super interesting.
A grand majority of general Sonic artwork came from that DVD.
That it always owns when something like that happens. We do have, I don't know how much we have for Nintendo stuff. We do have a couple press kits, which are always really interesting to look through. I know apparently when the Giga Leak happened, some like really, okay, no, not apparently, I've seen some of them, but like some really like high res art assets for especially Nintendo 64 stuff came out, and some of it's kind of interesting because it's like the box isn't fully formatted, so it doesn't have the little like you know, Nintendo 64 branding part that all the boxes have on it, but it's like just basically like some layers of the Photoshop project, but not all of them.
Yeah, like I got so much Mario
res.
64 assets now.
Yeah, it's just Mario 64 we really made a killing on, but like some of those games, it's like you really have to dig because no one like gives a shit. Like, it's like, yeah, we got some high res Wave Race 64 assets. which was very helpful. Is that my phone? I can't answer that right now. I'm doing a podcast. I'll call them back later. I don't even recognize that number. We do have like 3-ish minutes left on the clock too.
Hold on.
I'm gonna.
Let's extend it like to 50 minutes, like 7 minutes, because I want to.
Oh yeah, just add in like 4 or 5 more minutes.
I want to do a little talking about something because we're getting really mad at renders. I want to get really mad at renders.
Yeah, here I'm gonna put it on for 7 minutes and I'll finish my thoughts and then I'll pass it off to you. But yeah, no, it's like, and I mean that's a thing with leaks in general. I've just set the clock for 7. Some games, like, people just overlook them, and so would have been nice if people were really up on the Wave Race artwork train, since it was apparently in there. I mean I downloaded like. Actually, no. Wait, hang on. Legally, a friend of mine downloaded like the full GigaLeak like files, and there's like you have to know what you're doing to extract shit out of there. So like you can't just find like everything that there is. It's difficult, and people don't really care about some of those games. So it's like, man, you're never really gonna get some of that stuff in high res. But I was able to find some of it, and it was cool.
Dude, like
past. Sorry, I'm just gonna do total tangent because I don't know when I'm gonna get to bring this up, and I need to because it's been aching at me. We were talking about expired food earlier, and this might not be expired food, but I think it's funny. I believe Will and I, I'll describe this image to the Spotify listeners. Will and I think, found this image. I think he said it was like a placeholder texture in Half-Life or something. It's a grocery store. It's a pallet full of just boxes of Cheez-Its, and there's one old box of Cheez-Its, just one singular older design for the box. And if you saw all those on a shelf, it's like, what would you do?
This looks like Costco area or whatever.
It does. I mean I work I don't work at Costco, but I work at a store that, oh yeah, because it's the 2 bags in one box. Yeah. I work at a grocery store, you could call it, and this is how shit's set up sometimes in the back. So
this is one of those warehouse department stores where they just kind of throw the pallet on there and everything's in bulk because you have to pay for membership to get in anyway.
That's true. Maybe I should start working at Costco or Sam's Club or something, because then I can just, instead of having to sort the shelves nicely and zone and shit, I can just drag the pallets out onto the floor.
You'd have to learn how to drive a forklift.
You don't have to learn how to drive a forklift.
Oh, that's true, because
you absolutely do. I have I do IT work, and I've done IT work for Costco, and it is like 6 a.m. an entire zoo of forklifts going everywhere.
Okay, yeah, no, never mind.
I used to work overnight at a store like Costco. I didn't have to use a forklift at all.
We don't sell stuff in bulk. We do. I mean, there is we have like electric pallet jacks, and I think we have machines that are like functionally similar to forklifts, but I'm not licensed on any of those. I just use the standard non-electric pallet jack for my pallet related needs.
Speaking of pallets, it's time to get really mad at renders from Super Smash Bros.
Yeah. What?
So
why?
So Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, awesome renders. We all agree on that, right?
I have to look at them, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember them.
They're all very awesome and dynamic. They're
yeah. They're good renders.
Smash 4, the most boring renders you've ever seen in existence.
That's true.
They're all just
That is true.
I don't think it was because they knew they were making amiibo of all these characters, but I really feel like it might be because they were making amiibos for all these characters.
They really are just all amiibo poses.
They are such bad renders. They are such bad poses. They are so boring.
It's funny.
Not where I thought you were going with this.
It's funny too, because I mean, maybe it is because of the amiibo thing, but the amiibos look good. I think they look great. I have 2 of them. My favorite thing about the amiibos is when you have a pose like, I think Luigi, Samus, Link all need like a little extra plastic piece to make sure they actually stay up correctly.
Link got the P block. He's got the urine color block.
He does have the P block.
Yeah, like
I should check Zero Suit Samus's amiibo, because that's one of the ones I have because I'm a subspace. Oh yeah, she just has like a little stand for her fucking.
Some of these are
real
just
quick,
so dreadfully boring.
Based on amiibo.
Yeah.
There's a story that I need to bring up, and if I have the image still, I will bring it up. But I had a friend who had a Link amiibo that broke, and so in its place, leaning on the fucking P block, he glued a goddamn AA battery, like a Duracell battery. He
really
made a
good.
Duracell amiibo.
That's actually really good.
It is the funniest thing.
Half of these renders are just the characters standing there, not even doing anything. They're just standing. Like
And it's funny
Samus is
because
just
then-
standing, facing the camera.
Samus has a good render. If this is maybe wait, is this based off the Ultimate render?
This
Hang
is
on,
Smash
let me
4.
check.
Ultimate renders are good. Like
What is the Samus Smash 4? No, the Samus Smash 4 render's fine.
just
She's got
She
her
is
she's
just
got her
kinda
knee.
standing.
Not really. Wait, well, we're not looking at the same one, I don't think. You're looking at the one where she's like pointing the gun.
no, I don't know.
No.
Hold on, look.
Is it the one where she's got her knee up in the air?
Nope. Yeah, she's just
Okay.
standing. It's on this wiki
Daro,
page.
that
I
is
just
just
sent.
the wiki page for Smash Brothers 4.
Yeah, if you scroll down like 2 centimeters, there's the
Oh,
all the
wait, let me
renders.
look.
Or
Like
Where's
DDD,
yours?
he's just
Or I could
standing.
just-
Pika.
That's the one I'm looking at. That's a good render. She's got her knee up in the air. She's in an action
No,
pose.
she's not.
You,
yeah, that's
you
Zero
are not
Suit.
looking at the same render.
Zero Suits
Oh,
is
you're
fine.
talking about regular Samus. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, Zero Suits
Yeah.
is actually
Yeah,
fine.
no, regular Samus's render fucking sucks.
Like-
she's like A posing
Hits
basically.
is pretty bad. Like
Pikachu's is just standing. It's really
Ike's
funny
is pretty
because
bad.
Wii Fit
Yo,
Trainer's got a good
did
one.
you ever hear about that time where someone was able to use a Samus amiibo to fucking access the goddamn subway? I don't remember which
What?
one it was at,
Funny.
but like a subway, like someone
Oh, like an
was
NFC
going-
reader
like,
thing.
Yeah, someone was able to take the metro to using a Samus amiibo because, and the
That
leading
fucking
theory of
owns.
this is literally, I think the system was just looking for the text string Metro ID.
Oh my fucking god.
That's great. Anyway, if you thought I was
Dude,
gonna complain about
I have a
brawl
Zero Suit
renders,
Samus. Wait. We're almost out of time. We have 10 seconds, but we'll go a little bit past just so both of us can finish our thoughts. Yeah, before we get into brawl renders, first of all, brawl renders rule, but also they're really funny because they were overused on the internet for a really long
Yeah,
time.
that's
Like the Mario one
awesome.
just looks like
Yeah.
a shit post now. Secondly, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh, this is like not even important, but the two amiibos I have are Zero Suit Samus and Pikachu because I'm a brawl enjoyer. Anyway, floor to Daro.
if you thought I was gonna
finish your
complain
thoughts.
about brawl renders, you were wrong because they're actually dynamic and they're actually doing something. I mean, maybe not Marth.
true.
Marth kind of sucks. He's just standing there. The only
They do look like shit posts.
The only problem about brawl renders is like the horrendously detailed texturing, but that was a fault of the game's art direction more than anything else. I love the stupid gradient that they're all in front of. It's amazing.
The gradient is hilarious.
It's so
I remember
The gradient is iconic.
I used to want to do like images that were like the brawl renders, but I was really insistent about the gradient and I couldn't figure it out because I was like 7.
Everyone did it.
Now what renders?
Yeah, it's classic.
My final thought.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the Wario right now and I love the fucking angle he's at. He looks just so imposing for some reason.
My final thought about all this is that I was going to complain about Melee Pikachu render for being the worst.
I have to look at this. Some of the Melee models are kind of ugly.
Yeah, the
because
Melee
they
models
don't
are
know what the
pretty
fuck the
bad.
characters are yet.
Falco model
Yeah, that's
kind
a
of
ba-
sucks. Like
That's a bad render, but I like it because it reminds me of being 5.
Yoshi model
and by being
sucks.
well, not being 5, but just being on the internet as a child. Because that's another one that I just see all the time. Maybe it's a subject for another time. We can't go into it, but sometime we should talk about Melee and games like it that just inexplicably have characters that are in other things, but they look really weird in that one game.
Bowser.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later, though. That might have to be another one because we are well out of time.
Now we get to
Would we
trace
like
back
to,
what the heck were we talking about?
this. I don't even know what we're gonna call this episode.
Oh, I know.
because
I'm recalling it getting really mad at renders.
Oh, I was almost just gonna say off the rails because very little consistent subject matter. But Daro gets heated at renders would also be good. But yeah, no, we were talking about renders. We got really into the render game. Were we talking about Smash Brothers in general first? Did that? No, wait. We were talking about renders. You brought up Ultimate Renders because we were talking about Mario renders.
Mario Uno, because I brought up Mario SpaghettiOs.
Yes. Mario Uno. We were talking about how there's no brand consistency and they've remade a bunch of renders many times.
Talked about Wario renders.
Talked about Wario renders. Did we lead into that by talking about some specific piece of merchandise or something?
Mario SpaghettiOs, as I said.
Was
Mario
it?
SpaghettiOs.
Oh yeah. Because the Mario SpaghettiOs used the Mario Party Star Rush render before that game actually uses it.
And then there was...
What the fuck were we talking about before
cereal.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the Amiibo cereal, which also led us to Amiibo a little bit.
Because we were talking about expired foods and...
Somewhere in there, we talked about a bunch of food products. I brought up the old Cheez-Its. We talked about
the
Pokemon
Princess
cereal.
Peach and Toadstool name change
talked
along
about-
with Dr.
Yes,
Robotnik.
Eggman.
Tooth Tunes.
Tooth Tunes. A little bit about Dr. Eggman. Or not about Dr. Eggman, about Scott Pilgrim. How did we lead into... We were talking about a lot of tooth-related merchandise, like the Pokemon toothbrush.
I don't know why.
The Sonic the Hedgehog
it was-
toothbrush.
Yeah,
that
the
talks to you
Sonic
in Roger
toothbrush.
Craig Smith's voice.
You're doing great, Tim!
How did we
It's like,
tangent
that's not my
from
name.
Wii
Like,
Chess to toothbrush?
you literally just opened with Wii Chess. I don't know how point A, point B... We went into the Nintendo SPD, which is the studio that did that, and we talked about the Game Boy Advance MP3 player, which led me into saying, my friend still uses a 3DS MP3 player. Did you know that they also had video cartridges for the DS? Pokemon is weird, dude. Pokemon's got a lot of merchandise. And then somehow
doing that,
from Pokemon...
we talked about a commercial, and then the
Yes.
talking about old commercials made you bring up Tooth Tunes for some reason.
I want to say the Sonic thing came up first, but I don't know why that would have
It did not,
happened.
I don't think.
Listen,
Okay, I might be wrong on that.
all that matters is that Sonic can talk to you through your bones.
I think that's as good a note to end on as any. I'm gonna... I still haven't
Guys,
started
we
writing
didn't have
out
an
the
pornography
spiels.
pornography reference.
Oh no, we ruined it.
Tooth Tunes Rule 34. I feel like Sonic talking to you through your bones is probably someone's fetish.
Hey, be sure to rate and subscribe. Give us
Yeah,
give us
ending
a
spiel.
like. Give us a comment. Comment about
Yes.
your favorite Tooth Tunes song.
This show is hosted by me, Johnny V, and he, Daroachie. You can find us on social media. I have a YouTube channel. Daro is on X and Tumblr.
Don't say X.
Don't say
And Daro's
X.
on Z. He's on Zitter. He's on the fascism website.
What?
And Tumblr. Elon Musk.
Oh.
Anyway, you can also find me there. We stream Fridays, usually at 8:30 CST on my Twitch channel, Johnny V. This show is edited and the artwork is done by DrawnByAJ, who was also our guest for today.
You can find him
so
on the
be sure to
internet.
subscribe. Follow us on Deezer if you're a fucking loser.
Follow us
and
on-
get off my fucking train.
I was gonna say follow us on Weezer, but you know.
Deezer and Weezer rhyme.